Okay, and the broadcast is now live, which means if anyone goes to the window and they're watching and you happen to want to participate, like Ann does, then you're in the wrong spot. You need to close this tab and go to your profile, send me a query via Hangout, not a video query, but a text query, and I'll make sure to resend you a new invite. It will then pop up in your profile, and you can just click on it. It'll make a little noise, maybe, and then you can get in and join the conversation.
Great.
It is good to see you, Ann.
It's great to see you too, Mark. Uh-oh. Are we having, I'm having a little echo thing happening.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, what should I do?
Well, I'm not getting an echo thing here. Is it just happening there?
Oh. Let me just see. It's not happening now. Okay, so something fixed itself.
Well, maybe if I talk softly, it won't.
No, it was when I talked.
Oh,
it was when I talked. Yeah, no, so it fixed itself, whatever it was. So I need to go, the next time we do this, I'll need to go to the Google Hangouts, which is the little quote marks.
Right. Look,
So,
if you don't happen to be online, it's best just to be online. But if you're not online, then yeah, go to the little quote marks and you'll see the invite there. You will probably see the invites also in your email, though those tend to show up a little later.
yeah, okay.
And
but this is more direct. That's all I need to know.
But you never know which one's going to work better. I have had it work better sometimes via the email, but lately the direct method seems to work. But the problem is when I send out an invite to say, okay, this is going to go out to this group and be viewable by the group. People, I don't know why you can't get in that way, but you can't.
I don't know. I have tried that too, and it seems to always just take me to limbo land.
So what have you been working on since I last spoke to you? Have you had any fun projects?
Oh, how long has it been? I guess it's been a few months, huh?
Yes, it's at least a month, if not longer.
Yeah, no, I was, so I was in Maine for about a month when my mom died. And then when I came back, I had back-to-back projects. In fact, I'm just trying to straighten up all my books. So I had some really wonderful work. That's weird. So I worked with a small gardens, private garden group, which was where I did some facilitation, visual facilitation. And I thought it went well, and I haven't gotten any positive feedback from the client. But then I worked with a group of bankers, and that was really fun. And I'm trying to figure out why. Yeah, that was in April, and it was up at the Tulalip Resort, so that was really fun. And they were a great group. And then after that, I mean, I had just back-to-back work almost. Seems like it. I did something for a group for International Women's Day, and that was interesting. Not it wasn't my best work, but it was all right. And then one of the things I've been doing recently is I've been connecting with African American groups here in Seattle, and I think it's really because I had connected with a group in Tacoma, which is your neck of the woods, right?
Yes,
the Tacoma Urban League. and I did some work with them maybe a year and a half ago or so, or 2 years. And boy, they were a great group to work with. And so through the grapevine, I ended up working with some groups here in Seattle. And boy, I really do enjoy that, because they're working on really doing some community development work. So that's exciting. And creating a part of Seattle that was historically the Black area. And there's an initiative in Seattle that is creating arts and culture districts.
Oh,
So,
that would be fun.
yeah, so the central area, also known as the CD, or the Central District, is also has been designated as art and culture district. So that's just been wonderful. I really appreciate that kind of work. And what else? Oh, I had another group, and I have to read this to you because I don't even know. Oh, I don't have it down here. It was UASI, and I can't remember what that stands for. Yeah, UASI. Let me see if I can find it on my urban. I think it's urban something. UASI. I think it's Urban Area Sustainability Initiative or something. Urban Area Security Initiative. And it's this particular group was meeting about vulnerable populations and disaster planning. And really, what was interesting about it was the focus wasn't so much on disaster planning as, again, community development and sustainability, and what does it mean to be thriving and self-sustaining. And I think the bottom line, and this is happening up on Whidbey Institute, Whidbey Island, which is, it's all similar. It's like developing a community, developing sustainable communities, which then leads to thriving communities, which then leads to resilient communities. And resilient communities are those that are thriving and really connected. And so there's this theme that's going through a lot of the places or groups that I'm connecting with. It's been pretty nice. And then I did some work for a local philanthropy group. And that was challenging for me because the facilitator had certain expectations of me that I couldn't seem to fulfill. No matter what I did. I just, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, and I couldn't make her happy. And so at some point I just sort of thought, I don't care anymore, which then I realized that sucks, because I really care. I really care about my work. And so when I get to the place where I'm just trying to follow along and just do whatever I can, but I don't care anymore, this is not good for me. It's not good for anybody, Anyway. But I have not worked on the books, and I know this is what this is all about. But yeah, I know.
I'm beginning to wonder if that's what it's really all about. I'm beginning to think that maybe this group needs to, just get rid of the whole book part of it and go to Mastermind, because I think everyone's in the same boat. We haven't been working on our books.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had good excuses, okay?
Yeah.
I was just in Maine again for like 10 days, and and not doing any work except cleaning house and decluttering and hanging out. It was great, but it wasn't, book producing. And right now I have this window of opportunity over the next 4 or 5 weeks before conference without any gigs, and I'm planning to keep it that way. And I just want to get caught up on everything and work on the book. So, and I just was going through that email that Michelle Walker sent us, and it was back in January. And I had never even looked through it. That's how busy I was. And so today I looked through it and looked at her. Did you look through her stuff? She sent out this book.
Oh, I haven't looked through that yet.
Yeah, that was in January.
Like you, I have just been busy. I just did 2 whiteboards last month.
Wow.
I didn't have to leave my house. They were all done using video scribing with their editors. And I was so happy because traveling tires me out.
Yeah.
And to not have to travel to the East Coast and do a whole deal and it was a really long, I think I sent you a link to one. It was nearly 4 minutes long.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It was the longest one I've ever done.
Yeah.
And God, I didn't have to travel out to do it.
And you didn't have to travel. That's so good.
And it really helped me figure out how to do big projects on VideoScribe.
Well, that's great. That's always the best, is when you actually learn something that or you get really proficient at something.
And it wasn't
while you're working on a project.
It wasn't VideoScribe itself, because VideoScribe itself is relatively easy. It was more of figuring out, okay, how much I need to charge for each little step of this. And what happened was I underbid on how much I was going to charge on the hourly per image, and the time I had allocated to get that part of the project done was way underestimated. But I had compensated by thinking the worst case scenario on the VideoScribe aspect of it, and that went by like that.
Oh, wow.
And so I kind of made up, and it kind of balanced out a little bit. So I would definitely, I would have to be firmer with the client on how much time something's going to take, because we were really pushing it, because it was basically 12 active work days to get 4 minutes done and raw footage into their hands for them to work with.
Wow. And then what did they do with it, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, did they
well, for one thing, VideoScribe isn't that great with sound. You basically
right
sound file. So
was it good enough for them digitally? Digitally, was it good enough? Because I did a little project, just a test project with some filmmakers, and they didn't think VideoScribe was high enough quality. Is that the right term? I think
I would agree with them. VideoScribe is the quick, inexpensive solution for when you have the facilities. I would always prefer to do it in person and live, because you get such a resolution, and you have so many more options available for you. I mean, you basically have hours of footage to pull from.
Right. Yeah.
A matter of fact, one of the things, well, that's why we did some test footage, and I did one of the more complicated images. And what I decided to do was to make it run long rather than the time. I asked them, they did sort of like a quick voiceover with some thumbnails. They put that and they sent that to me as a QuickTime video that I get up on YouTube. So I could count the number of images, and I had and then they sent me the storyboard for that.
Right. Yeah.
And said, how much for you to take this and revamp it to the point where it's inside VideoScribe and done in your style. So I knew the time length, and I knew I could allocate, and I had them kind of go into each scene and say, okay, we want this scene to be 4 seconds long, this scene to be 10 seconds long. But what we ended up doing was going in and making those VideoScribe scenes longer in length, because they could shorten them. You know, once they had the movie, they were able to go into After Effects, shorten that amount of time, speed up the hand. And initially, I sent them a file that was 50 frames per second.
Yeah.
But they found that when they did that and they shrunk down the time, it was looking a little too jerky. So we ended up taking it down to 25 frames per second. And when they reduced down they found that just overall with the way they were editing things, that looked better.
So actually creating it in VideoScribe, but making it more compact, made it easier for them to then translate it into their digital
also,
version
there were
with the
some
sound.
special effects that were easier to get done inside After Effects than it would be to, say, get done in VideoScribe. So what I did was had those scenes just draw themselves out as much as I could, and then they would go in and cut and edit and do masking.
Yeah.
Because it was, you know, it's something you can do in 5 minutes in the editing program, but in VideoScribe you have to like pre-plan it so far ahead, and then it looks clunky in the file. And
wow.
I also was figuring out ways of making. Well, actually, I'm going to save a lot of what I'm talking about here, because I am actually going to be one of the breakouts at the conference, and I'm going to be talking about how to do whiteboard videos.
Yay! How fun!
Rather than working on my book for the last 2 days during my book conference, I am putting together that presentation.
Oh God, this is, you know.
And I'm using really.
I found, you know. Oh wow, single page. Okay, show that again.
Really simple illustrations.
Double space is 1 minute. 12-point time sort. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It's 1 minute. Okay. And
very simple instructional videos, or instructional dialogue.
Yeah.
And thankfully, as I've been doing these, I've been taking like shots of how different techniques are set up to look like, and what I learned on each one. So I didn't realize how many of these things I've done. I've done over 24.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So, yay!
Yeah.
And there's ways of making a VideoScribe actually look like a whiteboard video. If you know, you can fake it. You know, it's faking it to begin with, but you can make it look like it's faking it more. So.
Well, I enjoyed using VideoScribe, even just to do that little bit, just because I could draw something on paper with a marker, you know, so that it was pretty rich lines, scan it in and add it in, and then I could adjust it. Like I could edit the picture to take things out or to add things in, you know, after, and to make a sequence, right? And then have the hand drawing it, just plug it in and it would just go. It was pretty nice. Unfortunately, the client didn't like anything that I had done. the guys I was working with here, who it was their client, they liked what I was doing. And I kept saying, you got to get some ideas from the client because, you know, I can do this, but if she wants something different, it's going to, you know. So really, it's important that the client has say in the style, but she was so unspecific, non-specific about the style, and she wouldn't give them any ideas. And then when they gave her some ideas, she was like, no, I don't like any of it. So that's what, you know, difficult client. And so they ended up not doing the project. But it was fun for me to just kind of have a chance, you know, have an excuse to actually do it and have some time constraint to produce something. Because otherwise, if I'm just doing it for myself, I can put it off till tomorrow every day.
Now, I did do one video scribe differently this last month. I had the client send me the audio file first.
Oh, nice.
Something that was, I said, but he and I have worked together for over a decade. And we've done a lot of these conferences, you know, the outcome-driven illustration type things they do. He was one of the facilitators for that. So he and I have long since practiced our communication skills with each other.
Yeah.
So, and I knew that, first of all, he has a wonderful voice, and I knew that he could deliver the message quickly. And so that was my wife saying, glad that's over.
I was wondering if it was on my side of things.
No, that's my text message. Anyway, I'm going to and I'm going to show you this.
What voice does she have?
Oh, what does she have for me? I have no idea. She makes me interesting ringtones. I have different ringtones for different people. Like I have this one client that he's a whiteboard video client down in California, and he always calls me at the last minute. And he's he's interesting to work with. I just have to not stress out when I work with him because he just asks the impossible half the time. And I have, I think it's Pink Floyd's Money as his ringtone with the ringtones going ka-ching, because he mentioned in passing one day, one of your ringtones should be, a cash register. So the last time I was, next time I'm in his office, I'm going to have him call me on his cell phone so that he can hear it go ka-ching. But let me screen share. I want to show you this one. This has no extra sound effects. It's just, I know I needed to work with his one sound file, and based on this sound file, I put together a storyboard. I was trying to figure out what is the absolute cheapest way I could do this when the client just gives you carte blanche and is willing to say yes upon receipt. So hang on, let me pull that up. I love screen share. Fine. Here we go. I'm going to.
Well, it's kind of like being an animator.
Okay.
Okay.
You see that?
I see it.
Okay. I'm going to go to full screen and play.
Yep.
It can have all the smart people it needs. Lyft PhD fills that void. Lyft has built a network of top professors who provide companies the evidence, expertise, and outside perspective they need for making better decisions. A retailer, for example, was considering whether or not to tighten up their return policy, but they didn't have the facts to know how this would impact their bottom line. So they worked with a Lyft professor who ran various analyses and helped them to understand that a less lenient policy would actually turn away their most profitable customers. No matter what your challenge, be it marketing, sales, innovation, pricing, or social media, the Lyft network has the experts to help.
Okay. So that was
Okay, so I heard, but I didn't see any action.
What? No, you didn't see anything?
No, I saw the hand position ready to move, but it didn't move.
Oh,
I heard the soundtrack. That's all.
let me try it again. I think when I had it go to large screen, get done.
Possibly.
Yeah, let me go back or replay that.
The reality is, no company
Now
can
it's going.
what
Okay.
it needs. Lyft PhD fills that void. Lyft has built a network of top professors who provide companies the evidence, expertise, and outside perspective they need for making better decisions. A retailer, for example, was considering whether or not to tighten up their return policy, but they didn't have the facts to know how this would impact their bottom line. So they worked with a Lyft professor who ran various analyses and helped them to understand that a less lenient policy
You
would
know,
actually turn away their most
what you're
profitable
seeing
customers.
on
No matter
the
what your challenge, be it marketing, sales, innovation, pricing,
oh
or
my
social
god,
media,
she's just
the
killing
Lyft
me.
network has the experts to help.
Okay, when you were watching the head, it was looking
Yeah.
really jerky in comparison to how it actually runs.
Oh, well, it actually looked pretty good. I mean, I get it, you know, we're on this shared thing. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I learned a lot from that. You know, figured out, okay, after having that really long project, I was so hyped up. I mean, I was on such fire. You know how you get when you're in a big project and you gotta get it done. You
Oh,
gotta.
yeah. Yeah.
So this little project had been sitting on my back burner for like a couple months, and in 2 days, bam, it was just done. And
Yeah. Yeah. I love when that happens. That has happened to me too. That's why I'm kind of inspired to have this actual clean break, you know, because I was either going back and forth to Maine or working, or, you know, like even I was getting far behind on invoicing, and it's just like I could not seem to get my head above, you know, because I was always thinking about, well, what's coming up next, you know, and I have to get ready for the next thing, and then okay, now I have to post process the last project before I preload for the next one, and I had some back-to-back projects, and it was like, wow,
But did
it
you
was
get
a little crazy.
did you get the email I sent you? Because this woman contacts me. She says,
Yeah.
I heard that you could possibly do this thing, and
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
yes, yes, graphic facility. And I would have loved to have done it because I haven't done any graphic recording yet. I've always done my ODI stuff, but then it's happened at the exact same time as the conference.
What's ODI?
Outcome-driven innovation, but for me, it's outcome-driven illustration. It's
Innovation,
also
yeah.
called targeted brainstorming,
Yep.
or it's also called ideation. And
Ideation, sure.
yeah, but not a lot of people know the word ideation. I'm an ideation cartoonist. But I know
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out all these cool names that people have for what I'm doing, mind map drawing or what have you. I got to figure out what people have been doing this for longer than I have. I got to figure out what their terminology is. Last time where I was at the conference, I forgot to write all these terms down, and then I forgot what I got on.
Yeah. Well, in the whiteboard videos is the term I've heard a lot used for what you just showed me, is the whiteboard.
Whiteboard animation, whiteboard video. There's also called
Whiteboard animation, whiteboard videos, whiteboard visuals. I don't know.
and they're also called RCA.
RCA
Well,
or RSA?
RSA?
Okay, RCA?
Hang on.
RSA is the Royal Society of the Arts. And
Yes.
they were the ones that first did these.
And that's why they were called RSA.
Right. Okay. Yes.
But I figured, I better call them something other than my competitor's name. Yeah.
Right. Well, they were the ones that were doing it the old style, where they just put a camera next to somebody who was doing it, but then they post-processed a lot, so they came out all clean. So Yeah, I was watching those before anybody else was like talking about them. I was like, oh. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, so yeah, you can call it whatever you want. It's just whether people know what it is by the name you call it.
You know, I would say that 10 years ago, back in 2006, doing the ideation illustrations was about 80% of my income. And that has kind of tapered off. I don't do ideations nearly as much as I used to. And instead, I'm doing whiteboard videos, and that takes up 80% of my time.
Yeah, but are you getting 80% of your income?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even more.
Oh, good. Phew.
No, when I talk to other freelancers here in town, the ones that are just starting out, you know, they have this terrible habit of saying yes. And I tell them that my strong suit is saying no and just waiting for the project that I know will be a career builder and will, you know, put money in my pocket as opposed to a project that's just going to bleed me. So.
Yep, I've been saying yes to just about everything that's come along.
Really?
And, oh yeah. That's, I mean, and that in a way it's helped build my reputation and my clientele. And I also need to figure out how to get those clients to offer me bigger jobs as opposed to,
well, you obviously haven't been getting mom and pops calling you up on a nearly daily basis saying, oh, I have a great idea for a children's book and we can split the profits 50-50.
No, I don't get those.
Oh.
I have said no to quite a few things where people have said, you could do this for free and it will get you great exposure.
Oh.
No, I don't do those, and I try to be very kind when I say no. But it's kind of like, no, I don't do pro bonos anymore, and all my clients pay, and they're very.
There is a situation where I will do a pro bono, and that's when it really benefits me out significantly. Like, instead of getting a really decent speaker fee at a community college, what I'll do instead is get a minimal speaking fee and have part of the arrangement later that I then have access to one of their lecture halls and that I could put on my own speaking engagement that people are paying money to get into, and then that's worthwhile.
Yeah. And I've actually, that's a really good point. And like I'm looking at the fall with a new eye as to how do I want to position myself. I just don't want to just keep doing graphic recording gigs here and there. Thinking about teaching or setting up a graphic recording workshops, but also like community college or universities or something. So yeah, just finding different ways and figuring out what is my next iteration.
Now I did do
where I was a year ago, but
I also did a nonprofit last year for, I think it was for a veteran society for helping them find jobs after they leave the military.
Oh, I think you mentioned that. Yeah.
That really, because there were a lot of big, conglomerates there talking about how they deal with veterans. And so I did some ODI drawings for them that they used after the fact. And so I got some phone calls, and I haven't gotten any big projects, but I have some of the hottest leads I've had all year.
Wow, very nice. Yeah.
So what's on your agenda for tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm actually taking the day off to see a couple of friends and that I haven't seen for a while. I really went through this phase where I didn't see anybody You know, all I did was I was in Maine. I came back and I worked. I went back to Maine. I came back and worked. You know, so I'm making plans and getting together with friends that I haven't seen for a few months. And so I'm going to meet one for coffee, then I'm going to go take for a swim, and then I'm going to go meet another one for lunch, and we're going to go for a walk. So I'm taking the day off. And maybe I'll do some, when I'm at home later, I'll do some more bookkeeping. Or maybe I'll start sketching my book. Well, it's like I have stuff for the book. It's just.
I've been building content for another book other than the book that I intended. I've been building content for my next comic critic book.
Nice. Is this on movies again?
Yes, and the title of it is I Watch Dead People. And it's about old films. So.
It's about old films where all the actors are dead?
Well, my qualification is at least one of the actors has to be dead.
Sure. Okay. Well, that gives you a lot of content to look at then.
But a lot of them are older movies that if people say, oh, yeah, I've heard of that, but I haven't watched it. Like, I can't believe how many nerd friends I have who claim to be sci-fi geeks and yet have not watched Soylent Green but we know the tagline, Soylent Green is people. But I said, well, watch the film.
You have to watch the movie.
Yes. You can't just quote the end line. There's like, so many lines before the end line.
Yeah. Yeah. And Doctor Strangelove and
there's a lot of
is it mostly like those kind of movies? Or?
Yeah, there's some Doctor Strangelove. I did, there's some movies in there like Popeye, and I've let's see.
Wait, so are we talking about Popeye with Robin Williams?
Yes, we are.
Yes, okay.
Hopefully not too soon.
Not a great movie. A great nod to Popeye.
Let's see. The last movie I did a review on was THX 1138.
And THX?
1138.
I have not.
Yeah, that was one of the first films that George Lucas did.
Oh, really? THX 1138?
Yeah, have you ever been in a theater and they do this big wah sound and the letters?
Yeah.
That's a reference to his first movie.
Oh, wow.
And it has Donald Pleasance is in it. It's a dystopian future that's it's wonderful. It came out in the 70s. So it's a class. I'm surprised you didn't see it.
I'm surprised I haven't. Yeah.
It has Robert Duvall as the main actor.
Oh my God.
And the movie that I'm working on right now is Murder by Death.
Murder by Death. I think I've seen that one.
Probably it was a Neil Simon movie. It wasn't Academy Award winning by any measure at the moment. It was a light, fluffy comedy movie that did pretty well at the box office.
Yeah.
It wasn't a huge grossing film, but as far as earning money for the people who made it, it was a big earner. And it kind of creeped in, and I think about 10 years later, when it really set up the groundwork for the movie Clue.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
I
was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he was getting the two of them confused with each other. So anyway, that's
what it sounds like. Like the Clue movie. Okay, so I'm looking it up.
Murder by Death or THX?
Oh, yeah, Murder by Death. Peter Falk. Oh my God.
David Niven. Oh, it has all these great actors.
Peter Sellers. Alec Guinness.
That's the Chinaman. The most horrible Hollywood whitewashing you've ever seen. But that's part of the gag. Is the horrible stereotypes. Oh, the movie's horribly offensive by today's standards. It was offensive by 70s standards.
Yeah.
And it's just lampooning all of the, so-called famous detectives of old. Oh, and it's silly fun, and it was, one of those, let's go to the movies and watch this thing and not worry about life for 2 hours type films.
Right, yeah. Okay, THX 1138.
Yeah, you'll have fun with that one.
Yeah, well, that will be a good. This will be something good for the weekend. I'm not kidding. My husband and I really enjoy movies, and that's something that.
Well, certainly, THX is much better, and will get you thinking far more than Murder by Death will.
Oh, I'm okay with the Murder by Death too. Sometimes you just need some comic relief. But when we started dating back in the late 70s, we would just go to movies all the time. It was pretty inexpensive entertainment back then, and we lived in the Boston area, so there were all kinds of
those little theaters.
Oh, lots of little theaters in Cambridge and big theaters out in the suburbs too. So, but yeah, so, and I'm a big fan of the old movies where everyone's now dead. The black and white, the Hitchcock, all that kind of stuff.
Hitchcock's It Takes a Thief yesterday.
Yeah.
For the umpteenth time. And this time I wasn't 12, so I got all the huge amount of sexual innuendo.
I know. The fireworks.
Oh my God, you remember the fireworks?
Of course. I have seen that as an adult, so I've seen most of my movies as adults, so I can imagine. Yeah, no, Grace Kelly, she was really something, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah.
She played the princess really, really well in real life, and she, even if you look at Rear Window.
Oh, isn't she suburban Rear Window?
She is, and she comes off really like this, very, spoiled kind of socialite, fancy Fifth Avenue kind of girl. Then she goes over and breaks into the guy's apartment.
What I love about that movie, like so many others, the costumer for that movie was Edith Head.
Yeah.
And Edith Head did the best, the most stylish costumes. Alfred Hitchcock used her for everything. A lot of other people used her. Whenever you're watching, you can almost tell when Edith Head's costumes are on the screen.
Yeah. Well, she was kind of it for so long. I don't know how anybody ever got costuming work unless they were working for her, because if you look at all those old movies, she did them.
Oh,
she did. Yeah.
Now, have you seen the animation, The Incredibles?
Yes. Yeah, with the family. Wait, is it The Incredibles where it's the family and they're all superheroes, or the dad is the big superhero and then they all end up having? Yeah, that's a fun movie.
You remember the little costume creator gal? That was based on Edith Head.
Oh, sure. Yes, of course. Yeah, the big glasses and yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! My wife is now telling me that traffic is bad. You must really want to be coming home. She has never texted me this much.
Where is she going? Where is she coming from?
We live in Tacoma, and Olympia is about 30 minutes to 40 minutes south, and she takes us to a local park and ride. And I usually leave here at 6 to pick her up. And
wait, so does she works in Olympia?
She works in Olympia. She describes herself as a petty bureaucrat. So she works for
I know. My granddaughter lives in Olympia with her mom, my son actually lives in Olympia again. And anyway, the other grandmother works in government too. Hang on a second. Come on in, meet Mark. So Mark, this is my husband, Howard.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, nice to meet you, Howard.
Nice to meet you.
We've been talking about movies.
Great.
Oh, I love your shirt. I'm a big collector of Hawaiian shirts. That looks great.
I'm a small collector of Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah. So Howard just biked over from his office, and then we're going to go home together. So.
Okay, well, have fun looking online and finding THX 1138.
Have you seen that one, Howard?
What's that?
THX 1138.
No, I haven't seen that movie.
Okay,
I've
so
heard of it. It's a, yeah.
we'll see if we can watch it this weekend.
Okay. I'll
So,
see you next. Yes.
When are you flying out to DC?
Well, I decided to take my wife, so we're going to be flying out and arriving on Friday.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
We're going to stick around for a couple days.
nice. Yeah,
So
good. Good.
every time God, I have yet to enjoy the sights of DC, so I want to hit the art museum while we're there, and she's going to be
Definitely.
going out and checking out all of the gardens and things, and
Ah, nice. Yeah, it
so,
should be a good time for it, I guess.
yeah. So
Yep.
you're going to be going out early
I'm
as
act-
well.
Oh, I'm going out on the 28th. I have a sister who lives in Arlington, and then I'll be at the hotel for the conference, and then I'm going to hang out in DC a few days too, and then we're driving up to Maine. So I'll be back in Maine again.
Driving up there?
Yeah, my husband's going, "You're driving up there?"
You learned your lesson already?
My sister doesn't like anybody else driving, so this should be interesting.
Oh, joy, fun.
I've already done a long trip with her, and it was painful. But yeah, so no, I haven't learned my lesson.
Well, let's see.
All right,
whether or not we can meet up again next week, but we'll just
Okay.
play it by ear.
Okay, good, Mark. All right, thank
Talk to
you.
later, Ed.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Mark.